Hey everybody, it's Joey from Boonie's Garage. I went ahead and picked up a decked drawer system. We're going to install that today. So follow along with me. We'll unbox it and see what we got. So my wife drives a Toyota Tacoma TRD, and right after Christmas, she was saying how she'd really like some better organization for the back of the truck rather than just the open bed. So anyway, we're going to install that today. So follow along with me. We'll unbox it and see what we got. The decked drawer system comes extremely well packaged. The whole package is around 200 pounds. When you order, they deliver it directly to your house. So they'll just freight ship it. And if you look on their website, it says that their freight shippers are very good at shipping, but not so great at communicating. So one day we came back from going to the grocery store shopping, and when we got back, it was here. So, you know, it took about 3 to 4 weeks from the time we ordered it to get here. But as you can see, very, very, very well organized. Let's go ahead and start pulling some of these parts out and see what happens. Oh, also, just so you know, Joey Roman Knives makes an awesome, awesome everyday carry knife. He's one of the knife makers I follow on Instagram, and just a good knife maker. So that's what I opened the box with. Just a little side note. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this thing unpacked. Okay, what I'm going to use to put together this drawer system is going to be an adjustable wrench, a 3/8 wrench, 3/8 socket, 7/16 wrench, 7/16 socket, 1/2 inch wrench, 1/2 inch socket, a ratchet, a couple of extensions, a Phillips head screwdriver, and a set of Allen keys. And that's all you need to put this together. Per their instructions, they said to go ahead and lay out everything. So I went ahead and laid everything out so that I could have an idea of where everything goes. The only things I didn't lay out at the moment are the side pieces and the top plate, which is under here. I'll get to that in a minute. Whenever you're pulling everything out, you should look around for any nuts or bolts that might have fallen out. I found 3 bolts that weren't in their location. I've already found where 2 of them go. I gotta find where this last one goes and install it real quick. A lot of components come pre-assembled loosely, so that you can get everything mounted up relatively easily. Like obviously a lot of this stuff isn't torqued down, but they say when you're putting it together, you don't want to have everything torqued down. You want to have it loose and then tighten it up at the end. So I'm going to find where this last bolt goes, and then we'll get moving. I found where this last bolt goes, and it came out of the top part of this bracket right here. So just kind of get this installed through here. And then there's a captured nut on the back of this bracket. We're just going to try to slide it in. Page 1 of the instructions says, if you're installing this in a Tacoma, you have to remove the Tacoma factory bolt tie downs and then install the decked tie downs. And that's so you can secure it in the bed. So let me go get that knocked out, and then we'll move on with the next step. The instructions in the decked manual said to use a T30 torque driver to remove the factory bolts and tie downs. And I don't know if they did like a mid-generation design refresh, but whenever I tried to put the T30s in there, it was a little too loose. So I had to go grab a T40, and so I'm going to use that to pull those out right now. And as you can see, there's really nothing to it. It required almost no force to get them broke free, so I've done that. And now we're just going to pull these out. They said to retain the hardware so that you can put the new tie downs in. Now there is a left and a right tie down, and you can see the orientation they're supposed to go in, right? What they want to do is put this so the mount is facing, the flat part of the mount is facing the rear of the cab. And then we're just gonna pop these in here real quick. Like so. And then get them tightened down. Now that these two are installed, we can go ahead and start working on the drawer system again. Step one in the instructions is to install the two smaller wheels on the rollers here. And that way, that's for the bed to slide on. And then to tighten up all the brackets, making sure that the three brackets on each side stay level with each other when you're tightening them up. So I went ahead and did that. And now we're going to go ahead and build the box. After you put the back plate on, which you can see I've done right there, it goes in with 2 screws. It's super easy. Then we've got to put the top on and make sure it's oriented correctly, and then we'll bolt that down. After I got my bed topper off and cleaned out the bed, I got my wife to help me lift this into the back of the truck. It's actually pretty light. It's lighter than the camper topper. You slide it to the back. It's super easy. You could use kind of the bed rails to line up where you're centered at. And basically for the Tacoma, it's the second rail in. It's flush with the side of the second rail in on either side. And then you slide it up to the top, and on the Tacoma, you put these nuts and bolts through this bracket and mount it to those brackets that we installed in the back of the bed earlier. From what I understand, other models just use a shackle that you tighten down, and I think that's what this is going to use on the front end, but we'll figure that out when we get to that step. So the back tie downs are the only ones there are. Otherwise, what keeps the bed centered is the actual wings themselves. Once you put them in, they just keep everything where it's supposed to be, obviously in the weight of the drawer itself. Basically, after you secure it with the tie downs, you go ahead and put the wings on, screw in all the bolts down the sides, tighten everything down good, and then you can go back and tighten the couple of screws that you only snugged up at first. And now it's time to assemble the drawer. So the next step in the process is to build the drawer. And I didn't film much of that because it's essentially putting 4 walls on a floor. Like, there's bolts. You screw them in. The one tricky part about that situation, just to be aware, is that when this thing comes from the factory, it has a band strap around it to hold the rails onto the aluminum slide. I highly recommend you leave that on until you get the front piece here installed on the aluminum, because I didn't do that. And unbeknownst to me, the rails can walk off the piece of aluminum when you're putting everything together and trying to get everything aligned. And it took me an extra like 15 minutes to get everything aligned up right because I let one of the sides of the rail drop out. So just follow the instructions, actually read a little past what you're doing at the moment, because if I would have read like 3 sentences more, it would have said, be sure that when you're putting in the bolts on the bottom side of the front of the drawer, to not let the rails get misaligned. And I didn't do that. I let the rails get misaligned. So don't be me. So now that I've done that, the next step is I'm going to install these wheels on the back corners. Yeah, there. The back corners of the drawer system. And then I think after that, I can drop it in, but we'll see. I'm going to read the instructions before I commit to that. So, all right. So after you put the wheels on the gate itself, then it's just finishing touches. So I'm going to install the ruler here on the back of the bed, and then I've got to put some plugs in. I've already got some of my decked drawers in. So yeah, I'll bring you back in a couple of minutes whenever I get the rest of this done, but this project's almost a wrap. I went ahead and got the drawer put in. Just remember to put the wheel stops on the drawers, again, in the instructions, super easy to follow. That's the decked drawer system. The wheel stops are great because when you pull it out, it'll keep the deck open. So really awesome stuff. I'm really digging this. I think it's going to be a great addition for us. Decked, awesome product. Once I get the camper back on this truck and kind of get this thing organized, I'll do a walkthrough of how I set up my decked bed system and what I have in it and how we're going to use it. I'll just do a quick walk around and show you all that. It shouldn't take 2 or 3 minutes. Decked, great product. Decked is not a sponsor, but I would spend my own green dollars again on this, even though I just did. This is an amazing product. Really well built. Yeah, so if you're on the fence about getting one, totally worth it. And well, decked. If you happen to have one of these built for a, what is that, 79 dent side, or even I think a second gen Tacoma or a Nissan hardbody, send it to DeVille, Louisiana. I know a couple of guys who can put it to good use. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. God bless.